The airport fell silent. 15 police dogs suddenly broke from formation and surrounded a little girl standing alone. At gate 12, handlers shouted commands. Passengers screamed, but the dogs ignored everyone, their eyes locked on her. Then, without warning, the dogs began barking wildly. The girl froze, clutching a small pink backpack to her chest. "Please make them stop," she cried, looking around desperately. "No." One understood what was happening until one officer noticed something strange. Every time the girl took a step back, the dogs lunged forward, barking uncontrollably. And when they finally discovered why, the truth behind that moment left the entire airport in tears. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. It was supposed to be an ordinary morning at Kennedy International Airport. The sound of rolling luggage, flight announcements, and children's laughter filled the terminal until a sharp bark shattered the calm. Every head turned. 15 police dogs, part of a K9 demonstration unit, had suddenly broken formation. Their handlers shouted commands, but the dogs ignored them. One by one, they surrounded a small, blonde-haired girl standing near gate 12, forming a tight protective circle around her. The crowd gasped. "What's happening?" someone whispered. Officer Mark Jensen, the lead K9 handler, pushed through the line of passengers. "Rex, stand down," he ordered. But his partner didn't listen. The German shepherd growled softly, not in aggression, but in warning. His eyes never left the little girl. She stood frozen, clutching a small pink backpack to her chest. Her lower lip trembled. "Please," she said, in a tiny voice. "Don't take it." Mark hesitated. Something about her tone made his heart pound. This wasn't fear. It was desperation. Passengers began filming. Security radioed in. The tension grew thick as the dog stayed perfectly still, their bodies tense, eyes fixed on her. Mark took a cautious step forward. "It's okay, sweetheart," he said gently. "But what's inside your bag?" Her eyes filled with tears. "It's my dad," she whispered. Within minutes, the terminal was sealed off. Officers guided the frightened little girl into a private security room, while the crowd murmured. Outside, the 15 K9s were restrained. All except Rex, who refused to leave the glass window where she sat. His eyes never left her. Officer Mark Jensen knelt beside her. "What's your name, sweetheart?" he asked softly. "Emily," she whispered, still clutching her pink backpack. "Please don't take it away." Mark exchanged a glance with the airport chief. "We're not taking it, Emily," he said gently. "We just need to make sure everything's safe." "Okay," she nodded. Reluctantly, her small hands tightened around the zipper. Meanwhile, Rex began pacing, whining softly. His ears twitched as if he recognized something. A scent, a memory. His body language was different from any alert Mark had seen before. It wasn't aggression. It was confusion, almost sorrow. Mark frowned. "He's not reacting to danger," he muttered to the chief. "He's reacting to her." The chief gestured toward the bag. "Then open it." Mark took a slow breath, gently easing the backpack from Emily's grip. She didn't resist, just closed her eyes. As the zipper slid open, the room fell silent. Inside lay a small metal tin wrapped carefully in an old photograph. Rex whimpered, pressing his nose against the picture, and Mark's stomach dropped. Wait, I know that face. Mark's hands trembled as he lifted the old photograph. It showed a smiling man in uniform, AK-9 officer standing beside a proud German shepherd. Behind them, a little girl sat on his shoulders, giggling, her tiny hands clutching his police cap. Mark looked up slowly. Emily, who is this? Her eyes shimmered. That's my daddy, she whispered. And that's Max, his dog. A lump formed in Mark's throat. He turned the picture over. On the back, written in faded ink, were the words, "For my brave partner and best friend, until the end." Inside the tin box lay a folded American flag, a worn police badge, and a small glass vial containing ashes. Mark's breath caught. He remembered the face now. Officer Daniel Carter, a decorated K-9 handler who had died in the line of duty 6 months ago. His unit had included Rex and the same dogs now surrounding Emily. The realization hit like thunder. The dogs hadn't surrounded her out of fear or aggression. They had recognized the faint scent of their fallen handler embedded in the flag, the badge, the ashes she carried. Emily hugged the backpack tightly. I was taking Daddy home, she said softly. Mom said his heart belongs by the ocean. I wanted to do it myself. Rex let out a low whine, pressing his head against her leg. Mark blinked back tears. Oh God, he whispered. They weren't protecting us from her. They were protecting him. The room fell into stunned silence. Mark stared at the ashes, the flag in the photo, all that remained of Officer Daniel Carter. His throat tightened as memories surfaced. He had trained under Daniel years ago. The man was more than a colleague. He was a legend. Mark turned to the chief, voice barely steady. Sir, these dogs there. Carter's old K-9 unit. The chief's eyes widened. You're saying they recognized him? Mark nodded slowly. Not him. His scent. It's on the flag, the ashes. Everything she's carrying. Outside, Rex let out a low whine, scratching at the door. The other dogs began to mirror him, tails lowered, ears pulled back. Not in aggression, but in mourning. It was as if they knew their handler had come home. Emily looked between them, tears streaking her cheeks. Daddy always said they were family, she whispered. They still remember him, don't they? Mark knelt beside her, his voice soft. They never forgot, sweetheart. Dogs like these. They never do. Through the glass window, dozens of passengers watched, silent and tearful. The story was spreading. People recording, whispering, in awe. 15 powerful police dogs, once trained to protect the city, now sat quietly around a little girl in her father's memory. It wasn't a security breach. It was a reunion. One that defied logic and spoke straight to the heart. Mark swallowed hard. Let them stay, he said. They've waited long enough. The terminal doors opened again, and sunlight streamed through the glass. The 15 police dogs stood side by side, their handlers silent, caps in hand. Emily stepped forward, still clutching the backpack that held her father's memory. Mark walked beside her, his voice calm, but filled with reverence. We're going to walk him home together. As they moved through the terminal, Rex led the way, followed by the rest of the unit in perfect formation. Passengers parted in silence, some pressing hands to their hearts, others wiping away tears. The usual airport noise had vanished, replaced by the echo of Synchronized footsteps in a child's. Quiet sobs. At gate 12, the boarding officer stood waiting, eyes misty.
She.
Nelton whispered, "Take care of him, sweetheart." Emily nodded. "I will." Before she boarded, Rex stepped forward, resting his paw gently on her backpack. His eyes soft, filled with understanding. The gesture broke. Everyone watching. Mark whispered, "Goodbye, partner." As the plane doors closed and the engines roared to life, the dogs remained seated, watching through the glass until the aircraft disappeared into the clouds. For one brief, silent moment, every soul in that terminal felt it. The kind of loyalty only a dog could carry and only love could command. Hours later, the airport had returned to its usual rhythm. Announcements echoing, passengers rushing. But for those who witnessed what happened, nothing felt the same. Officer Mark Jensen sat quietly near the runway window, Rex lying at his feet. The old German shepherd stared out at the horizon where the plane had vanished minutes earlier. His tail thumped once, softly like a final salute. Mark sighed. "You did good today, buddy," he whispered, running a hand through Rex's fur. "He would have been proud of you." A young officer approached with his phone. "Sir, it's everywhere. The video's gone viral. They're calling it the dogs who remembered. Millions are watching." Mark smiled faintly. "Good. Maybe now people will understand what loyalty really means." He stood, giving Rex a final pat as the K9s regrouped. Behind them, 15 silhouettes against the glowing sunset. Heroes come in many forms, some in uniform, others on four paws. But the truest ones never forget the people they